In today's episode, we will make our way into nothing less than an abandoned East German state security bunker. As you can see, this really was a last-minute explore, because the demolition of the place had already started, and the above-ground buildings, there are 8 of them, were mostly gutted. We got a tip from someone that a bunker is hidden here, and by persistent research I was able to find out the location. However, we did not know where exactly the entrance to the bunker was. So we searched every corner of these buildings, which were used as a disguise for the below-ground bunker, in order to find some hints on the bunker or its entrance. As you see, they even had some kind of pool and what appears to have been a sauna downstairs. So, to understand the importance of this place we explore here, let me just take a minute to give you a very brief summary of this part of the German history. As some of you probably know, after World War II, Germany was divided into 4 different occupation zones, with the eastern part of Germany given to the Soviets. This part, from now on mostly known as East Germany, began functioning as its own state on October 7th, 1949. And was officially called the German Democratic Republic. It was a satellite state of the Soviet Union and part of the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War. However, immigration to the west was a big problem for the state, so they constructed the inner German border as well as the infamous Berlin Wall. The border between East and West Germany was almost 1,400 kilometers long, and on the eastern side, one of the world's most heavily fortified frontiers, with a continuous line of high metal fences and walls, barbed wire, alarms, watchtowers, booby traps, and minefields. It was patrolled by 50,000 armed East German guards. Unofficial estimates are up to 1,100 people who died on the border while attempting to flee to West Germany. But that wasn't the only oppressive thing back then. East Germany had a Ministry for State Security, commonly known as the Stasi, which has been described as one of the most effective and repressive intelligence and secret police agencies ever to have existed. They had a vast network of citizens turned into informants who spied on the population in order to fight any resistance against the state. One of the scariest measures they took was literally called decomposition, which used methods of abusive control and psychological manipulation to damage the mental health of the targets and prevent anti-government activities. By now, up to 10,000 individuals estimated to have become victims, and 5,000 of them sustained irreversible damage. The bunker we are exploring today belonged to this state security service. If you were wondering why we checked the switchboards, we looked for markings which could refer to the bunker, which wasn't very helpful, except for one saying safe in the basement. So we searched basement after basement and already got a little bit disappointed because we didn't find anything that looked even remotely like a bunker entrance. Until, literally, in the last basement we went in, we found this. Dachte ich mir schon.
Was ist das?
Wahrscheinlich ein Luftfilter. Für die Zuluft oder sowas. Bin schwer enttäuscht. After this disappointment, we'd already feared that we needed to give it up, until we checked the rear of another building and found this air shaft. Ach du Scheiße. Das sind so Luftschächte irgendwie hier oben. Frage ist, geht ich da rein oder geht ich da nicht rein?
Ja, nicht, dass das irgendwie schlafen.
Ich guck mal, wie weit ich komme. Geht. Ah, das ist eklig. Oh, es ist eng. Hier ist ein Durchgang auf jeden Fall. Jo, das geht hier rein. Lass die Wand an.
Ja, echt?
Ja,
Das heißt, ich komme auch runter?
wenn du willst.
Ja, eigentlich schon. Das ist schon eher so, wie ich mir das vorgestellt habe.
Jo. Guck mal hier. Das Fahrrad.
Das habe ich damit gemacht.
Wahrscheinlich hier, um die Lüftung anzutreiben für Notfälle. Ein Kreuzworträtsel. Chef, wo saß einer in diesem Buch und hat Kreuzworträtsel gemacht. Oh jo, Trinkwassertank. So, why was this bunker constructed in the first place? Back in the 1960s, the leaders of East Germany got more and more afraid of riots and military attacks, especially in the face of the arms race between the Eastern and the Western powers during the Cold War. This led to the resolution of Directive 167 by the State Security Service in July 1967. Part of this directive was the instruction to ensure that the state security can keep working after the breakout of any kind of war. To achieve that, they started constructing so-called auxiliary places of leadership in the form of bunkers. In these bunkers, even in times of war, and I am quoting now, sturdy, unbroken and covered leadership should be possible. From 1968 until the 80s, several of those bunkers were constructed in East Germany. The facilities were under utmost secrecy. And you guessed it, this one here was one of them. The construction of this particular bunker started in 1972. They used precast concrete components to ensure a fast filling of the excavation, so that even citizens of nearby villages didn't notice anything. The bunker is a little over 1,400 square meters large, not including tunnels for entrance and exit, and lies approximately 4 meters below ground. It had storage for 5,000 liters of diesel, feeding 4 emergency generators. Being a partly hermetically sealed building, it had filter and ventilation plants with different types of filters, including some for radioactive dust. Because we entered the bunker through what presumably was an emergency exit in an air filter corridor, that was what you could see earlier. Dann war das ja wahrscheinlich irgendwie die Heizung oder Energieversorgung. Hier riecht halt auch echt nach Heizöl. Wahrscheinlich haben die das hier gelagert. The facility also had a well providing 6 cubic meters of fresh water per hour, a reservoir with a capacity of 3,000 liters, and a water purification unit. As you see, we were still able to find some of those things down there. Nee, hier sind richtig viele von diesen komischen Kisten. Da ist irgend so ein Zeug drin. The bunker was hermetically sealed to prevent chemical or radioactive warfare agents from entering. To ensure that people and their equipment won't bring any of that stuff in as well, they had a 2-staged airlock and a decontamination shower in between. You can still see the place where the shower was, by the blue markings on the floor. However, building and maintaining this one and all the other bunker facilities did cost millions. The ambitious plans were meeting economic boundaries, and over the years they started saving on equipment and security standards. Finally, in the 1980s, the state security had to admit that many plans for bunkers couldn't be realized. Some projects were stopped, some bunkers were not finished, but the existing ones were kept in constant standby. The facilities were so secret that they were mentioned in only some very few documents, and many of them were destroyed after the fall of East Germany. Speaking of it, the end of East Germany after the peaceful revolution in 1989 and the German reunification in 1990 also meant the end of this bunker's usage. The Stasi stopped existing and the bunker was abandoned and not further used. Since then, this piece of history is slowly decaying below the ground. I hope you enjoyed this exploration. If you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you like. You can also check out some of our other explorations, like the first one from this trip, or the exploration of the House of the Offices in East Germany's former Forbidden City. See you there.